When you first walk into the factory, you can really feel kind of the soul and the history that the building tells. You know, this place has been here for 100 years, and so when I come in, I imagine the evolution of the space from a manufacturing hub and an important part of this community to now the vibrancy of mixed-use development where we've got families and locals coming to enjoy time together, have drinks, food, entertainment, and all those kind of things. We've been working on this project for almost 4 years now. It really is a sense of appreciation for what we've been through to get it to this point, and then a lot of pride in seeing it come together. The history at the factory really is remarkable when you step back and think about it and how it came to exist here. The birth date of the factory is October 14th of 1929. And you think about what happened 2 weeks later. It was the big stock market crash. That was really kind of the beginnings of what was the Great Depression. So to think about that you started construction on this massive factory to build stoves, and then 2 weeks later, like, the world falls apart. Trying to figure out how to navigate that. And Allen Manufacturing started that in October of 29. They did open. They made it until the early 30s, 1932. And at that point, just they succumbed to the difficulties of the time. But also during that time, they provided a lot of jobs that the community needed building out this factory. And then in the early 30s, it didn't stay, I think, kind of foretelling of what the future of the factory would be. It didn't stay vacant very long. Dorch Stove Works came in 1932, and they started an operation in what was essentially a new plant that was built at a better time. They made a big bet and got going and started producing stoves to heat your home. That evolved into cooking stoves, and that had a really good life. And then its next life, after Magic Chef bought Dorch Stove Works and Magic Chef left operations in Franklin, it became the era of Jameson bedding and furniture manufacturing. You know, the factory has had this industrial heritage and history for a long time, and then that also changed. So in 100 years, you'll see a whole lot of change. And in the 80s, when manufacturing started moving out of the US, is when it got dormant. And then the late 90s, when Calvin Lehue and a group of Franklin locals decided this place was worth saving. In the late 90s, that's when they really, came together to start moving it into the direction that it's become today. If you look back on what stories this place can tell, you've had big ups and downs, right? So you had this period of time when Dorch was producing stoves, and you heard the laughter, and this was the livelihood for many people, especially in the local community. This was an ecosystem, this was a community, and so things happened to families, and then there were hard times or layoffs or things like that. And so over the course of 100 years, you hear all of that. And now, even coming into the 90s, when it did get repositioned as this community attraction and asset, I think there's tons of stories, even prior to our reimagination of the community being here, and the excitement and happiness of people having life experiences here. You've had people get engaged, you've had weddings, you've had proms, you've had all those kind of life experiences. If you could weave together all those stories from that 100 years, I think you create a really good picture of how our experience of life has changed from those industrial roots. I have been in the area for over 20 years and had come here even before we owned it. And it was one of those places where you walk in and you think, gosh, if I could do a project here, here's what I would do. And so to get that chance is, really once in a lifetime, once in a couple of lifetime kind of opportunity, I think. Early on, we knew that we're stewards of the factory. Really, the Franklin community has a big stake and ownership of the factory. And we felt like it was important to engage that in the process. But what we decided to do was to create our big wall, and we left openings in the wall with glass, like plexiglass, so that the public could see through. They could see the transformation that was happening into what our historian has called Franklin's living room, right? So you could see the renovations happening. I think at that point when we saw the engagement of how many people would come in and spend time watching the guys in there creating this new space, really gave us a sense of, okay, this is something that this community wants to see. It's captivating to them now, just wait until it all gets open. One of the early things that we saw was this alley that really is the spine of the factory, and it runs between all the buildings, and we felt like it was just kind of a hidden gem there. It's a place that if you're not from here and you don't know how to get around the factory, it's a place you can get a little lost and you feel okay because it is an inviting and unique experience. So really trying to capitalize on those things. And then one of the bigger ones is the water tower. The water tower is the skyline of Franklin. We felt like that was an important part for the community to be able to engage. It had been fenced off, and you couldn't really get to it and spend time around it. And so we wanted to recreate that as an iconic spot for the community and anybody visiting the factory. So it's a nice landscape plaza out there with furniture that people can grab a drink, grab ice cream, grab a donut, take their lunch, and sit out under the water tower and enjoy that part of the campus. Earlier we talked about the decision on what to keep, what not to keep, and Ken Means, the wood carver, the carousel here, had a shop at the front door. That was an early decision. We can't really keep him at the front door, and his dream is to do something different other than just be in the shop producing animals. He wanted to see it on a real working carousel, and so bringing that dream to reality was very rewarding in that way, and that's a way that the factory is also able to give back the community the way we've set that up and nonprofit, and to allow that operation to support other community initiatives is very rewarding. Ken Means is the creator of the carousel, and from what we understand, what we think we know, this is the only hand-carved, hand-painted wooden carousel carved by one individual in existence in the world. And so this is quite a unique asset for the factory and for the Franklin community. In a project like this, you're spending a lot of time. You find a lot of different spaces and nooks and crannies that you appreciate. Early on, spent a lot of time on the mezzanine where Charity Water is now. We didn't really have an office, so I spent a lot of time there on the phone talking to people and being able to look out on what we were doing and imagining what we would do. So I think your favorites evolve over time. That was probably an early one, and now being up there and seeing the expanse of the Grand Hall and seeing people at Skylight or seeing people go into the restaurants around there, and on a busy Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, just seeing the community interact with the space and engage that's very rewarding. The outdoor spaces, I mentioned the alley that connects kind of the spine of the factory. That used to be the old railroad spur that came into the factory, and now that when you leave the theater after a show at Studio 10, if you're parked in that part of the factory and you walk down those pavers, and it's this very nice, quaint, kind of relaxing stroll out to your car, that probably is another favorite spot. What's next for the factory is we're adding a hotel here that will start early in 2026. That'll be about a 2-year process. We're also adding more parking as part of that phase of the project. I think when you reflect on what do we want people to understand about the factory 5, 10, 25, 50 years from now is that connection to the history of how a place can evolve from its industrial start to what becomes really another little city, a small city in Franklin where you can spend your free time and you have that connection to what your ancestors have done, what your parents did, the experience you have as a young person visiting here that you remember when you were an early child and you rode on the carousel, and now maybe you're having your wedding reception here at the factory, but you're just kind of connecting generations of life events here. It's happened for 100 years, and I think there's no reason that it can't happen for another 100, that it continues to connect generations of experiences. We see lots of smiles, you see lots of children, you hear crying children. You know, it really is that you feel the life of this community inside the space. I think it has been and continues to be, you know, Franklin's living room, a place where people gather and spend loose time. And that is very rewarding to see that we've been able to enhance that experience here.